Hello Dragoborne fans, and welcome back to another video. This week we're going to be talking about the Machines deck that is really going to catch a lot of people by surprise. But first, what do you get when you match Lich King with Transformers? Well, yeah, you get this, Hyperion, I guess. And I really wanted to cover this card first before we get into it because I want to recognize something before we get into the really weird card that some reason exists. I think Machines finally are getting enough support where they're going to be good on their own. We saw the Kraken that wasn't getting enough love. We saw the Mech Dragon that was in red that was fine. But really, we needed something else, and this is exactly what we needed. Hyperion is that kind of card that it builds into that strategy. It rewards you for doing what the deck wants to be doing. It has great stats. It can ping stuff, which can help against those smaller red aggressive decks anyways. And then when he summons, he gets to blow up a dice, or a die in this case, so he can always swing for damage. Now, how good is he going to be? It really depends on how fast you're accelerating out your machines. Are you drawing them? Are you ramping into them? And that's what we are going to talk about. So two things in total. One, this kind of two card, one turn kill combo, and then Hyperion himself. And now we're going to be talking about kind of switching it up to the Liberator. And this is really the card that gets the attention for this video. So I want to at least acknowledge right off the bat, it is a 5/5 for 5, which is great stats in itself. And the fact that you cross it becomes a 6 is very powerful. Now, it is important to note that you do need a blue specific die to go on this card. So what that means is you're going to have two of your banners to make this happen must be blue. That's the only way to get blue dice. You have two of your banners and you have one of any other color. And we're going to recommend green, but you'll see why in a second. And we'll talk about more about kind of deck theory and whatnot. But how does this work? So the Liberator says when it attacks, if it's crossed, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's machine, you get to tap a different one. So in theory, when you have two of these in play, they're both crossed. You attack with one, flip the top card. You're playing an all machine deck. You're going to be able to untap another card, get additional attack in, attack with the other one, untap this one, and really just have this kind of back and forth where they're going to keep untapping each other. That's really what you want to be doing. It helps if you have some other things like Carefree Orc, if you want to get that like two pings in, or any other on attack creature that you have. Maybe you have Albert that you want to get the most value out of. You're always gonna have one extra untapped than what you need, but then after that they're gonna be untapping one another. So this is a very strong combo. But yes, keep in mind, if they have multiple blockers, chances are you're just going to be able to ram them both into one and they're going to die that way. However, as you saw with Hyperion, if we want to make sure we're getting a dice out of the way, or we can just have him swing first, that's perfectly fine as well. And again, worth noting that with our first free on tap, we can have him deal 2 damage to our opponent's entire board. So there's a lot of shenanigans that you can do with this card. Now, I will say that it is extremely fragile considering that. It's expensive, so you can't obviously play them both in the same turn unless you're going a heavy ramp strategy. If you play one and then the other, you get this entire window for your opponent to bounce it to your hand, to kill it, to gluttony it, to grade it. There's a billion answers for it, so that's fine. But if it goes late game, you're kind of both in this top deck war and you don't have a lot of resources to play with in terms of hand, but you're at 10 or 11. You play both of these and there's just going to be a chance where you can just win on the spot. And I think that is at least worth brewing with. I'm not sure how competitive this is going to be. I am not playing this in Chicago. I already know what deck I'm going to be playing. If anyone's been following the channel, you probably know what deck I'm going to be playing as well, or an updated version of it. But I think this is worth testing and something that I would keep an eye on. So that's enough about Liberator. Let's talk about some of the other machine support, because we talked about your entire deck has to be machines. You cannot afford to miss with this effect. So sure, you can make the argument where maybe you have 4 spells and there is a machine spell. It's not a machine type, so it won't get the effect, but it helps your machine cards out quite a bit and you can filter through your deck. Is that going to see play? I don't know. You really want to focus on it. But let's see, and let's look at some of these cards. Machines really do have it all. They have ramp, they have draw, they have filter, so you can look at your cards. So I think it is viable in that sense. So let's start off with the Devastator Boar. It's a 4-drop 4/4. You're going to be playing it on, well, if you're on the draw, I guess you can play it on turn 1 because you get to resource. Reveal the top card. Again, you're playing machines. It lets you get that free acceleration going down. It can help you curve out better for your future turns. It does everything you want to be doing. The other reason why I want to mention this card is because there needs to be a side note about deck construction. So as you guys may be aware, you start with 3 banners in Dragoborne. Those are your 3 resources. So let's say blue, blue, green. The rest of your deck can be yellow or black or whatever the other support cards are, because as a start part of your turn, you take the top card of your deck and put it into your resource zone, and whatever that is, you unlock that color. So it is very easy to have double banner of one color, so in this case blue, to make the combo happen, and still have a blue, green, yellow deck be very efficient and very effective in what it wants to be doing. If your only green cards in this case would be Devastator Boar, you have the one banner unlocked, so you always can play it from your hand. It doesn't matter if you flip another one or not, you always get to play it. So that's what you really have to consider when you're playing these types of decks and you're thinking about deck construction, about what percentage of your deck is going to be of a certain color and what's going to be ultimately the odds or the strategy that you want to play to in getting those resources into play. If you want to be mostly yellow so you can play those Liberators more readily, if you want to be blue so you can draw a bunch of cards, black so you can do some filtering and destruction, it's all up to you what you want to do from there. Speaking of drawing some cards or filtering, we have the experiment. So when it's summoned, you look at the top 3 cards from your deck, reveal a machine, put it into your hand, put the rest in the discard pile. Excuse me. So again, it's a 1 cost, it's very cheap, very efficient. This is again, we're playing a blue banner anyways. We have 2 blue dice. We need to have 2 blue dice. So we're gonna be able to play this on our first turn no matter what. It's gonna help us find those combo pieces. It's gonna help us find our acceleration. If we need to accelerate, it can make itself a 3/3, which is cute, but you probably don't really care. This was mostly used in the Kraken deck, so you can find other pieces. It's fine. It's a common that you're going to be playing in all of your machine decks because it helps you filter. Absolutely must play card. And then we have the Augmented Stone Gazer, which is one of my favorites just because of how beautiful it is. It is a 3-drop 2/3, which is okay, but I really like the other effect. You get to destroy one of your other machines and then draw 2 cards. So again, we have these 1-drops we don't care about. We have the boards that once they come in and they do their thing, we can kill them off, draw more cards, find our Liberators, maybe find our Hyperion, find those really big machines that we're looking for. So you guys can see where we really do have, and it's spread out among the colors so you can play with the banners, think about what you want to be doing with it. But I think machines are finally going in the direction that they need to be going into. And it makes me so excited because, as we'll cover in another video, red-black is also finally be getting the love. So for the first 2 sets, Dragoborne has been very mid-range and control focused. There's been some insane dragon cards like Izarko, or even Raid, which has been a way overperforming card than kind of we all thought. So it's been really hard for these more aggressive strategies to survive. So I'd really love to see where this deck goes. If you guys like this video, make sure to drop us a like down below. Comment what banners you're going to be using. Are you going to the Chicago Regional? Is this something you're going to play? Are you going to do blue, blue, yellow? Are you going to do yellow, blue, green so you can play a more rounded out machines deck? Let us know. We're so excited to see what direction that this deck is going to go into. Again, is it going to be the Liberator, or is it going to be just Hyperion being a boss monster and maybe you have a 1 of Kraken in there to work out that combo? It's so excited to see where this is going to finally go. And of course, subscribe for future Dragoborne content. Again, we've took a little bit of a break because there wasn't a lot going on, but regionals are starting. I'm so excited to talk about this game. The next set's dropping. We're going to do a video on spoilers, and it is all so great. I'm very excited to play Dragoborne again. So thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate all your love and support. And on behalf of 6 Ages Gaming, we will catch you on the next one. Have a good one. This video made possible thanks to our Patreon supporters. Thank you to our honorary sages.